All right, so we got the panels up now, wired in series, so each panel plugs into each other. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna trim the rails here. We're gonna run our MC4 cables down into some conduit. Let's get started on the mini split install. Okay, so what we did here is we put our mount up first. We want the mount up so we can come to the unit and say, okay, the side of the mount is here. So we want to make our hole for the refrigerant line exactly how far the corner of this is where the unit mounts to the refrigerant line. So we're going to make our hole here, and we're going to bend our lines and go through the wall like this. And we'll bend these out and down. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to drill a pilot hole all the way through the wall. Then we'll come through with our drywall saw, concrete saw for the outside. That way we have a hole to know exactly where to go through. You don't want to eyeball it or anything like that. Make sure you have a long drill bit. So go all the way through the wall and you know exactly where to put your starting drill bit. Now we come to the other side, on the outside. You can see our holes right here. So now we have a pilot hole. Get that lined up. You need to be very careful with these refrigerant lines. If you kink them, you'll have to solder on the connector and put on new refrigerant line. Be very easy with them. Do not kink them. If you kink them, you're going to have to replace the line. So be very gentle. Just be slow. Don't yank it. Don't get too fast. Be slow with it. So I'm going to grab it where we want to bend it here, and we're just going to slowly bend them out here. I got them straight. So what's going to go to the wall is going to be your drain tube, your refrigerant lines, and your electrical line. So before we just run it through the wall, make sure you got everything set up so when you do get it up there, you're ready to run everything through the wall. If you can't get your hole, your refrigerant line straight through the wall, you have the option for these knockouts here. So let's say you needed to run the refrigerant line down this way and through a sidewall, so you can't get directly behind you for the outdoor unit. You'd run it down the side here, and there's these knockouts, so you can either go, either way. So that's also another option. And in that case, you'd have to tighten the refrigerant lines before you actually mount the unit up on the wall mount. But essentially, you're going to want to take your top mount right here. If you're just by yourself, get it resting on the top if you can. Run everything through and then it'll just click on. We'll show you that once we get this through the wall. You can see our refrigerant lines came through nice. You might have to kind of bend them a little bit once you get them through the hole to get it perfect. So now what we're going to do, we're going to put our pad down, our outdoor units, and the refrigerant lines. We'll kind of show you guys how to do all that. Let's get it all set up first. What we're going to do next is we're going to bring our refrigerant lines down. You have these caps on here. So when you open them, you're going to hear a hissing sound. Don't worry. It's just nitrogen to keep any moisture or anything getting in the lines. So hear that? It's just nitrogen, don't worry. You always want to put some support on your bend here. Don't just bend it against the wall. You'll for sure kink it. So just make sure you're feeling it. Don't want to kink it. You don't want to go at too hard of an angle. Just bend it down like so. Slide that down. Check the kinks here. So You're gonna have caps on these, remove the caps. Just get them hand tight for now. Next, technically you could do it either way. You could vacuum the lines now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get this hooked up. We're gonna hook the vacuum up and then we're gonna run our MC4 cables. But I just wanna show you guys how this goes. Take your cover off here. MC4 cables here. And we're not wiring this into the grid. This is strictly solar right here. So it's a white plug in here. Plug it right in. Your ground cable here. So the ground, just put it on the board here, there. We're gonna hook up our vacuum now. Start pulling a vacuum, because you know, let that vacuum run for 30 minutes to 45 minutes. You wanna make sure there's 0 leaks in here. We're gonna tighten up our lines. Once we hook up the vacuum, we'll show you guys how to do that. Okay, so now for your vacuum. Obviously, you know, if you don't do HVAC, you get these vacuums on Amazon, Harbor Freight. Really depends on the quality of the vacuum you want, price point you're willing to spend. Anyways, to do, so you got a low side and a high side. Middle one's gonna go to the vacuum. This side, most of these vacuums aren't gonna come with the right size adapter for these mini splits. Any HVAC store will carry this. Just looking for a mini split vacuum adapter. So it's gonna go on the bottom valve here. So go right there. Tighten it up. Tight. Tight. And okay. So we let that vacuum down for about 20 minutes. As you can see here, it's still holding a negative pressure. So below 0. It's holding a negative pressure. It's held for about 20 minutes now. Actually, it's probably been more like 30 or 40. So we're good there. Lines are tight, there's no leaks, we're good. Went ahead and installed the disconnect here. Okay guys, most crucial part. You'd think this would be common sense, but trust me, I've seen 100 guys do this wrong. You always have to buy a new circuit board. I don't care whether you think you have it right, you always check the polarity. I don't care how confident you are, you always check it. So, I mean, you can even get a cheap Harbor Freight multimeter, which is what we got here. So, let's put this right here so you guys can see it. So, we're gonna go negative here. So, positive 155 volts. Now, if you guys see this, negative, you got it backwards. Black side. Usually, sometimes these connectors are loose here. We'll grab our MC4 tool and tighten these up before we turn it on, but just make sure you tighten these down. I'll show you guys how you release the refrigerant now and how we turn the unit on and get it our first startup essentially. So we'll grab an Allen key and we'll show you guys how to release the refrigerant into the unit. Let's wrap this up. All right. Okay, so check polarity on our disconnect switch. We pulled the vacuum on it, no leaks. Now the next step is to release the refrigerant. So you don't want to just crack this open and go super quick. You want to let it slowly flow through. So you'll feel it getting cold, but just release it slowly. Don't just dump it all at once, crack both. Let it slowly release into the unit. Once you hear it stop hissing, make sure you pull the king valves all the way out so they're fully loosened. And put your caps back on. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna foam our hole where we drilled through. Got our lines through. We're gonna fill it with foam. So this is pretty self-explanatory. All right guys, we're all done here. Disconnect's on, you can see the outdoor unit glowing.
All right guys, so what you usually want to do here is put those MC4 cables into some conduits and then put a line set cover over the refrigerant lines. In this case, they're redoing the stucco on the side of the home. So we're going to go back and finish that up. But if you guys have any questions, give us a call 520-214-6475 or reach out to integrations@photonac.com.